For the first time this season, the New Orleans Saints are on a winning streak. They've won two straight games after defeating the Carolina Panthers for the second time this season by a score of 20-17 to get the four wins on the season. They're now 4-10 on the year overall. Carolina Panthers dropped to 7-7 on the season. Today was a huge game for them. But as I said a few days ago, the game was also huge for the New Orleans Saints because you want to see growth from this team. You want to see if this team could build off of their success compared to the last time they got a win when they defeated the Carolina Panthers and they went on a bye and they went on to lose two more games and then you play the Bucks, you win that game, then you win this game. So you're beating teams that had that have winning records. Two teams that are vying for the division. You beat the the Panthers and you beat the Buccaneers. Both of those teams are trying to win the NFC South. One of those teams will win the NFC South when it's all said and done. But as for this game, the Saints just took it to another level. Tyler Shook is showing you why he is, he is the guy for this team to usher in that next era of really good New Orleans Saints football. Because today was a sloppy game for the most part. And this is the type of games that you want to see your young quarterback win. When everything was falling apart, offensive line was not good today. Multiple penalties by the committed. Multiple penalties was committed by the offensive line. Devin Neal, like he was going to have a good game. He left the game with a hamstring injury. Devon Valet was having a really good game. He had to leave the game. I heard that he was in a sling at the end of the game during the post game. So we'll see how that all play out. But this is a game that you want to see your young quarterback lead the team to a victory and that's what happened today with Tyler Shuck. And who he worked with whoever the Saints brought in. They put in Kevin Austin and the train just kept moving. But prior to those injuries, you got to be excited about this team's future, especially with a guy like Devon Fillet, because he caught every day. Everything that Tyler Shook threw at him, Valet caught it. It's just that simple. Everything they threw at him, he caught it. Offensive line just didn't have a good day today, man. It just did not have a good day today. Calvin Banks didn't have a good game. The rookie left tackle, he didn't have a good game today. The last say Fawanga, he didn't have a good game today. But Tyler Shuck overcame all of that to get the victory. It's just that simple. Look at his numbers today. He was clearly the better quarterback between him and Bryce Young. Tyler Shook threw for 272 yards, one touchdown. He was sacked 5 times, completed 24 of 32 passes, had a 110 quarterback rating. Solid game. Overcome all adversity to win this football game. It's just that simple. On the ground, he also led the team in rushing. Tyler Shook had 8 carries for 32 yards. Devin Neal had 7 carries, 28 yards before leaving the game. Even Evan Hall, he came in, he had 4 carries, 12 yards. Audric Estime, 3 carries, 11 yards. Through the air, Chris Olave, another solid performance after starting off the game a little sluggish. He had 6 catches, 85 yards, 1 touchdown. His touchdown reception was the touchdown score that tied the game at 17-17. Like I said, Devon Valet, 5 catches, 69 yards. Audrey Estime out of the backfield, he had 3 catches, 39 yards. Kevin Austin Jr., he had 3 catches, 33 yards. Jawan Johnson, 4 catches, 30 yards. So overall, I thought Shuck did a really good job of distributing the football. I really did. Because he got all these guys involved in the passing game. He just didn't get locked in on one guy. He just didn't become a quarterback that's highly dependent on his wide receivers throughout the game. If he was open, he was getting the football, and that's what happened today with this offense. So that's another sign of growth. It wasn't pretty at times today, but it was a sign of growth. The Saints were losing this game by 17-7. Losing this game by 7, it was 17-7, but they rallied to win this football game. And I knew Carolina was going to come in this game, you know, motivated, desperate to get a win because of what transpired this past Thursday with the Buccaneers and the Falcons. Buccaneers lost that game, but was pretty much left the door wide open for the Panthers to win this game. And then if they had won the game, they would have had sole possession of the NFC South, and all they had to do was just win the next couple of games, and the division would be theirs. But now they're tied with the Buccaneers right now at 7-7. They're tied with the Buccaneers, but overall, I think the difference between the last meeting and this meeting that occurred was the way that they used Bryce Young. They rolled him out a lot. He pretty much torched the Saints defense on the ground as a runner. Um, Passing, last game he had 124 yards passing. This game he had 163. So not much of a difference. But I still think the Saints defense did a really good job of shutting down what the Panthers do best, which is to run the football with Rico Dodell. Rico Dodell only had 16 carries for 49 yards. He had one touchdown. Bryce Young, the second leading rusher, with 7 carries, 49 yards. Through the air, Jalen Coker was the leading receiver. He had 4 catches for 60 yards. But I thought the Saints defense had another solid outing. I mean, there's an argument could be made that they have been one of the best defenses in the NFL since mid-November. They've just been that good, you know, compared to what we saw in September and October. This defense has gotten really, really good over the past couple of weeks. So I think I already said this before. I think the Saints got their quarterback of future in Tyler Shuck, and today's performance just proved that. I'm more than certain that they will be going to next season at with Tyler Shuck as starting quarterback. I'm more than sure. I think it's almost certain. I think he's done enough to hold on that job going into next season. I think that they may see it differently, but I think there's no reason for them to look in the draft for a quarterback. And the way it's looking now, in regards to the draft pool right now, the way it's looking in the NFL draft, the draft order, the Saints just dropped from I believe it was 5, picking at 5 to now 7. So with each win, they'll drop even further down the draft chart for 2026. Right now, that's 7. 7 wins could possibly put them out the top 10. More like you'd be in the top 15ish. And I know there's people. I'm pretty sure that's going to be few stragglers here and there wanting the Saints to bottom up for a high draft pick, but for these guys in house, man, they're playing for their livelihoods, man. They're playing for their futures. Tyler Shuck is playing for his future. Devon Valley, he playing for his future. You know, playing to get a new deal with the team. So the draft, man, they're not thinking about that stuff. They're not. And I'm pretty sure the Saints are thinking about it, the organization, they're thinking about it, but they're also looking at what they have in house. Because when you get this quarterback situation figured out, as you may have noticed with other teams, you can commit money and draft assets to other areas of this team. Because the reality is that this team cannot move forward without identifying somebody as their starting quarterback for the future. And I'm pretty sure that they figured that out. Now, the next challenge for this team is how can you handle success? Can you beat the Jets next week? Can you beat the New York Jets next week at home? Can you get the 3 wins now? Can you win 3 games in a row? Right now, you're on a 2-game winning streak. Then another thing to think about before the season started, I had this team winning 5 to 7 games. And it's looking like they may meet those expectations. If you finish the season at 7-10, I think that's a success. That's a huge success for this team, given the circumstances, especially where they were at the first, the first month of the season, first 2 months of the season, because it was looking like this team would have probably won 2 games, 2 or 3 games. You won 4 games right now. You won 2 straight. That's a chance for you to win 3 straight starting next week. That'll put you at 5 wins, 2 more wins, which you have the Tennessee Titans on the road, and then you have the Falcons on the road, gives you 7 wins on the season at 7-10. I think that's a huge come up compared to where you were. So things are trending up for this team. And like I said before, I want to see now how can you handle success? Do you read into your press clippings too much? Will you do that going into next week against the Jets? Both of those teams have nothing to play for. So we'll see how it all play out next week when they take on the New York Jets at home. But Saints pick up a second win, pick up their second straight victory, 2-game winning streak, 4-10 overall in the season. Panthers now 7-7, still in it. They're still in it for the NFC South title, but they're now tied instead of being in the lead due to this game. So final score 20-17. Saints win next week against New York Jets at home. That's all I have for y'all for right now. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you feel. What are your thoughts? What are your takeaways from today's game? If you listen to this podcast through Spotify, Apple, Amazon, 5-star review, leave a comment, leave a review. Let me know what are your thoughts. Have a blessed day. Peace. I'm out.